Woodward Sports Network presents a sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermani. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go, Monday, April 25th, 2022. Ermani and Edwards, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermani, and the champ is here, Braylon freaking Edwards.
I get to you in a second, Ryan. Appreciate you seeing you. Sam, Alex, as always. Maz, welcome back, big guy.
Thank you, buddy.
Heard you want your opportunity to go one-on-one with the great one. Is that true?
Hey,
Are we going to get this thing on?
We'll get it going.
We need a date.
We'll get it going.
While you're in here, we need a promotional date on the calendar at some point here. We need a mano-a-mano bowl-off between Tom Mazaway and Braylon Edwards. We're going to invite everybody out. The champ.
Thank you.
We're going to invite everybody out. We're going to get a date on the calendar. We're going to make this a Woodward Sports event.
You know what I'm thinking, too? We live stream it just so there's a little pressure so people will know this is going down live.
Absolutely.
I like it.
What night's your bowling
night,
night,
all?
Thursdays now, but Tuesdays in the summer.
Great. So maybe we could do
before
a Thursday.
before Tuesday league. We'll come out there and then stick around for the league
there
game.
You go.
Done. I'm trying to convince Braylon to be on my team.
That is fantastic.
I know the man could bowl.
It can be Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, bowling alley, in the alley. Doesn't matter. Braylon Edwards, the great one, will be there.
I love your bowling prowess. Because me, if I break 90, I'm just living the good life.
Braylon's a two-hander, no thumb. He revs the ball, and high scores come from that. That's all I got to say.
Are you serious?
Yes, high scores come when you rev the ball. You got to make your spares when you do have them. Most guys like him will strike a lot more than spare. I'm a spare shooter. I'm a 200 bowler.
Okay.
But one-on-one, I might be able to get you a game.
Might be as an operative word in there.
Exactly.
That night, Scotty G, they went out to Twin Peaks. I want to say Spencer, the heavyweights, and all that was said is just excuses. Well, Braylon did this, and if he wasn't striking, now all of a sudden I'm a two-handed bowler. So what comes with that is high volume. What I am is a winner. I am the champ. It doesn't matter what I have to do. If 175 gets it done, then 175 gets it done. If 244 gets it done, then 244 gets it done. I will bowl whatever to get the W.
I want to be there for this.
Just remember, bowling is more than one game. It's an average. Can you average your 244? I'm asking you. Can you average 244?
It doesn't matter the score.
Okay.
I will win.
Okay.
Whatever the bowling score needs to be, I will win. I will do it.
Okay.
Anybody got a number on that?
It can be 12.
So is Braylon like, Maz, you got a handicap this.
Yeah.
I mean, is Braylon like
he should
minus,
lay me.
Is he minus 150 or would you put him at like minus 225?
No, I'd put him at like minus 170.
Minus 170 and you're like a plus 130 or something
no, I'm
like
higher
that?
than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm a plus I'm probably plus 200
to
beat him.
That's interesting.
Plus 200.
All right, enough of the champ talk, man. My boy is back.
Yeah,
my
we're having
boys
some
are
good
back.
You know what? Went to
man.
Nashville, Tennessee over the last couple of days.
I moved there.
I'm telling you, that is one of the greatest cities I've ever been to. I haven't spent much time there ever. But, I mean, they had live music playing at these bars all up and down Broadway, 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
10:30 in the morning. There's guys with a guitar just trying to make it, sitting in these bars.
The suburbs are gorgeous around there. Gorgeous.
Packed. Streets packed already.
And Nashville has been a cool place. I always enjoy going out in Nashville. When we were playing teams in town, we would come in town obviously a day early, go out, get a bite to eat, check out the scene. Cost of living is pretty good out there. It used to be a little lower, but
the
now,
weather's great too.
But now weather's really good. People are moving out there. I remember Jake Long telling me some years ago he was moving out there. You see Aaron Rodgers was looking for residents out there. A lot of people are moving out there, man. It is a boom. But guess where it really started to hear people talk about Nashville? They had a little thing called the NFL draft. And that's what the Detroit Lions have. That's why I'm excited to have the draft. Because you see the boom in Nashville after the draft. $200 million does you well.
Hey, I was in Anna Maria Island, Florida, just outside of Sarasota. Uncle Joe, Aunt Kathy,
Uncle Joe.
I had like you might as well call it an all-inclusive vacation for 3 days. It was so much fun with my girls. It was daddy-daughter Lily's at school, so I had Abby and Maddie with me.
What's better than that?
There was nothing better. I had the greatest time.
That's awesome, Maz. Well, guys, I'm happy to be back. I know, Maz, you're happy to be back. Braylon, it's good
draft
to be,
week.
It is good to be together. It is NFL draft week, and we couldn't be happier because we're going to find out this week who the Lions are going to try to select to help them get to the promised land, or at least try to get to the promised land one day. All this speculation will go out the window. All of these mock drafts will go out the window, and the time is now. Braylon, we were talking earlier, back in 2005, just what the days leading up to the draft kind of looked like for you. And by the way, we'll talk to Dave Birkett, top of hour number 2, 3 o'clock, top of hour number 2, get his take on where the Lions are and really where the Jags are, too. So much speculation coming out over their number 1 selection. But for you back in 05, man, some of these pictures that you sent earlier were just fantastic, too, as you look back.
Oh, boy. Look at that guy, man. That's a young guy. He was very eager and, ignoring the fact that he was headed to Cleveland. That is the stage, 2005. Got Aaron Rodgers right there, Antrell Rowe, Alex Smith, Ronnie Brown, just a couple to name in that 2005
That's
draft.
a great-looking jersey from that angle.
It'll trick
That is a good-looking jersey.
It'll trick you. All jerseys look good that close. The interesting thing about it is you're starting to see, and we just, we were looking at our group chat earlier, you see some GMs want certain players, some owners want other players. Sometimes the difference is not always necessarily the same. When I came out in 05, Romeo Cornell and Phil Savage at the time was a GM. Phil Savage, huge Oklahoma ties. Oklahoma, they wanted a defensive player. They wanted to shore up that defensive line. They wanted to bring in a guy, which they would next year, in Cameron Wembley out of Florida State. But they wanted a defensive guy or trade down or trade out of the pick. And the owner, Randy Lerner, saw one football game. I'm not making this stuff up.
One college football
He saw one college football game that season. And we know Randy Lerner was a really good man, but kind of an aloof owner, not really necessarily hands-on. Spent a lot of time out in overseas because the soccer leagues, the MLS, they really were starting to kick up in terms of U.S. Residents owning teams over there. So he was always overseas. Saw the Michigan State game 2004. So that's the only player he wanted was me and then Randy Lerner. So they were battling the whole time through the draft process. You saw a bunch of names change, and I didn't even talk to Cleveland. And that's why it makes so much sense now, looking back on it. I didn't talk to Cleveland at all, with the exception of my pro day. I talked to Terry Rubisky, who's a wide receivers coach, was interim coach at some point for the Jaguars and the Raiders. Talked to him a couple times, and that was it. And they drafted. So it's all about getting on the same page, owner, GM, and coach. Lions got 4 days to do that.
Well, it's funny because, the report came out earlier today that the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the general manager of the Jags, and the head coach of the Jags, 3 different people within that organization want 3 different players with that number 1 overall pick. It's draft week. This is Matt Miller. It's draft week, which means it's lying week, but there's a lot of chatter this morning about the Jaguars in Ikem Ekwonu. They like him a lot, but the buzz is definitely out there that he's in play number 1 overall. Whether it's Trayvon Walker, whether it's Aiden Hutchinson, and whether it's Icky over here, there's 3 different players up for grabs of who the Jags should select at number 1. And you know what that tells me? And it's funny that you said this about the Browns, because at the time when you got drafted about the Browns, it tells me about an organization that simply is not on the same page
100%
about anything. You look at what happened to the Browns, you look at what happened to the Lions. How many times you say, well, the GM wants this guy, but the head coach wants this guy. The defensive coordinator wants this guy. The OC wants this guy. Yeah. The owner wants this person. And you do that with all of these organizations that are perennial losers. When you cannot be on the same page, how, after all this time, after all the meetings, after all the scouting, after all of the pro days, can you not get in a room with your guys? And you don't have to be all yes men.
Yeah.
But I think it's incumbent upon really good organizations not to challenge. You can ask questions, but to be on the same page. The Jags should absolutely know who they're taking number one unified. Now, maybe this is all BS, and maybe this is all
smoke and mirrors.
Just smoke and mirrors, draft week talk. Yeah. But I get a sense that they have no idea who they're picking.
I don't know if it's so much smoke and mirrors until the second thing you said. They absolutely do not know. If you look at it, Trent Baalke was there. He survived. He survived the regime that was Urban Meyer. He's still there. That's not a GM that came in with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson watching from afar. Coach Peterson looked last year and said, you draft Trevor Lawrence, you draft a transitional talent at quarterback, you got to protect him. So you know where he's thinking of. Peterson's thinking of Ikwam Ekwonu. I guarantee you that's who wants Ikem Ekwonu. I guarantee you it's Peterson. You look at the GM and Baalke. He had a ton of success on defense when he was with the San Francisco 49ers. Drafted Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith, if he didn't get in so much trouble off the field, was a tremendous talent. Had Justin Thomas, also had Patrick Willis. So they had success in 49ers from a defensive standpoint. That's what he's thinking. So he's thinking of the defensive guys. He's thinking your Aiden Hutchinson. He's thinking your Kayvon Thibodeau, your Trayvon Walker. And then you got the owner, Tony Khan, who's everybody's been telling for the last 6 years, draft this player, get rid of that player. So he doesn't know what to think. He just wants to win.
So what will that mean for the Detroit Lions? We'll break that all down in the coming time here that we have. Tom Mazaway, we're really excited too. Miggy 3000 over the weekend. What an incredible scene at Comerica Park before a packed crowd. The stadium was fantastic. The weather was fantastic. I was watching in Nashville at the Nashville airport on my little screen. I mean, it's just one of those moments that you'll never forget, right? I mean, all the alerts coming through. Miggy steps to the plate. It was so great. And not that this is surprising, but Dan Dickerson nailed the call.
Oh, always.
We will have Dan Dickerson on to put in perspective for us what Miggy 3000 means, where this team is 15 games in. I know it's just a small sample size, but where they are right now, too. So we'll talk to Dan Dickerson coming up next. We'll talk to Dave Birkett coming up. Lions draft, top of hour number 2. We are packed today. Plus, there's some talk about Malik Willis at number 2. We'll get that for you.
Please.
On a Monday, baby. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. Please smash that like button. Tell a friend about us, Woodward Sports Network. But before we head to break, I want to tell you about this. It's no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. You've got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in. They have lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. In fact, some of those have less than 500 miles on them, so they are like new. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
We'll be right back.
Braylon Edwards, World Sports Network.
Find them.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
We all know Cade should have been Rookie of the Year, but you know the saying, Detroit versus everybody.
Uh-oh, Cunningham all by himself.
Woodward Sports.
What a great scene it was at Comerica Park over the weekend. Dan Dickerson had the call. In fact, watch Dan Dickerson here on this go, because there's not too many people, and I tweeted this out the other day after Dickerson's call the 3000. Not only did he replace Ernie Harwell,
It's one of the best ever.
Look, Ernie's the greatest, right? I mean, can we just say Ernie is the greatest? Do you know what it's like to replace a living legend? Neither do I. But Dan Dickerson has done that and not skipped a beat. I mean, there's nobody out there that doesn't like Dan Dickerson. The guy is just the greatest at what he does right now. Obviously, you know, the Vin Scullys of the world, he retired, and Jack Buck and Ernie Harwell in that class. I'm not talking about those guys. But over the last 25 years of the new school guys, Man, he's up there. Here's Dan Dickerson, Miggy 3000.
Upright, relaxed stance, tucks the left shoulder in as he cocks the bat over the right. The 1-1 ground ball. Base hit into right! 3,000 for Miguel Cabrera! Raises his arms. Iglesias the first to hug him. The Tigers dugout empties as they charge over to first base and let the hug dispensing begin. Oh, what an incredible journey. From a skinny 15-year-old discovered on the dusty fields of Maracay to an icon in Motown. Miguel Cabrera, the pride of Venezuela, has joined one of the most exclusive clubs containing the best hitters in baseball history.
The call matches the moment, and I got to tell you, Bray, I got goosebumps.
How do you not?
I got goosebumps. I watched that video of not the hit of Dickerson's call, and it gave me goosebumps. I mean, it touched me in a way that I am surprised how much it touched me, actually.
I will say this, and I got to say something to Dan Dickerson. I'll tell him when he gets on as well. I got to thank my father, and I got to thank Maz for, the talk radio, listening to it in the car. I've never been a radio guy. I don't listen to radio. I always thought that was for older guys. Like when I hear guys listen to sports talk radio, I go back to when I was younger. I think about my dad in the car, listening to Stoney, listening to Wojo years ago, Terry Foster way back when. Like I go back to that. I never wanted to be that guy. I listen to music. Well, now I listen to sports talk radio because, it gives you some insights. Maybe you missed something. And I was on my way to Stick's house to watch the Tyson Fury fight. We'll get into that later. I timed it up wrong. So I'm in the car listening to Dan Dickerson's voice as opposed to watching it. And I got to say, man, he did it justice. I felt like I was at Comerica Park. I felt like I was on the inside of the stadium. I felt like I saw his family come to first base. I felt like I saw his teammate. So I timed it wrong. But Dan Dickerson, you saved me because I felt like I was in the moment.
What do I tell you about an announcer, how they can make or break a game?
They do.
That's all I got to say.
You're right.
And I was there with Dan when he did his first inning right next to Ernie Harwell in the WJR booth, in that small little booth at Tiger Stadium, that decrepit booth that was almost falling down. I was practicing with him in that Lions press box next to Tiger Stadium, next to that Tiger press box, where there was abandoned. We found old foul balls up there. It was this guy just works at his craft. So
it's incredible stuff.
I'm proud of him.
Hey, let's bring him in. He is, and I want to thank Tigers.com and the Tigers Twitter for that video of Dan Dickerson's call. Let's bring him in. Dan Dickerson, the voice of Tigers baseball. Dan, my friend, I got to tell you, your call in combination with the hit touched me in a way that I was actually a little emotional watching it because, again, we don't know when we're going to get to see another one of these. This is our guy, and just it touched me. How did it feel for you?
I was relieved that it was over.
I understand that.
It was an amazing moment. It really was. I mean, I think that the best part of that day was Miguel holding court at his locker like I had never seen before. First, it was kind of visiting journalists, a couple from Venezuela, and he was kind of just chatting, and then a few people would drift over because he just doesn't do that. And you're thinking, well, this might end pretty quickly here. But he was in such a reflective mood and happy and joking. And it went on for a half an hour. I'd never seen it before. And it was so neat to hear all of his thoughts, whether it was about Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline, what did he mean to you? The first word out of his mouth was everything. And then he would talk about Spencer Torkelson. That, you guys know how good this guy is? I mean, just to hear him that. He wasn't even asked about him. And he just kept going on and on about Spencer Torkelson. Who are you going to think of when you're around first base? His uncle, David Torres, his hitting coach, who taught him that classic inside-out swing so that you can go the opposite way. Perfect hit for him to get 3,000. So all of those things that set the tone for the day. So you just really, you knew how much it meant to him, how special it was. the fact that his family could come on the field. But you saw he didn't let the moment linger. He wanted to get back to first base, get back to trying to win this game.
Hey, Dan, once again, just reiterate what Ryan said. Great call, man. I wasn't able, I don't know if you heard it, but I wasn't able to watch it on TV.
Yeah,
I was in the car like an idiot, man. And so, but I got a chance to listen to your beautiful voice, and I felt like I was there, so I really appreciate that. But you touched on it, and it's something I want to touch on. One of my favorite words when I learned as a kid was foreshadowing. I love the whole concept of foreshadowing. I love to be able to peg foreshadowing. You just talked about it. Miggy gets 3,000, and then right after that, Spencer Torkelson comes up and hits a 3-1 bomb. Is that foreshadowing the future for the Tigers? Is Spencer Torkelson the next one? I'm trying. I'm working. I'm trying to get better.
Hey, you just gave me some chills myself. Because he really did. I mean, he was asked about Spencer Torkelson, and of course he was mentioning Riley Green in the same breath. But, he said he's not here, so he spent a little more time. But he kept revisiting, Spencer Torkelson, even when he wasn't asked. The conversation kind of kept coming back to it. And you realize, no, he's not just saying this to be polite. Listen to what one of the greatest hitters ever is saying about one of the guys that's on this roster right now and what the future holds for him. He was laughing. He was, some colorful language. This guy, believe he can hit. I mean, it was really fun to see.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and then he hits the 3-run home run.
Talking to Dan Dickerson, voice of the Detroit Tigers. Dan, I hate these arguments because, when you prop somebody up, when you try to make your case, it almost seems like you got to knock somebody down. But obviously now so much talk with these milestones. Is Miguel Cabrera the greatest Tiger of all time? You bring up Al Kaline, you bring up Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Is this just something fun to do as sports fans?
No, you can. I mean, go ahead and argue about it. That's fine. But no, I mean, why can't we appreciate that Ty Cobb was an unbelievable player 100+ years ago, and that Al Kaline, because of his artistry in right field, is simply going to be forever one of the greatest players in history. Miguel Cabrera absolutely is probably the best pure hitter in terms of power, hitting for average, being an offensive force. Yeah, you could argue he's probably the greatest pure hitter at its peak in Tigers history. But I don't think we need to choose between those three. And, there's a few more that probably join in that conversation. So let's appreciate all the great ones, and I don't worry too much about ranking them.
Hey, Dan, take us back to Thursday, Dan. As a Yankee fan, I always got to catch the Yankees and Tigers. It's the bottom of the 8th, and Aaron Boone walks out to that mound, and he puts the 4 fingers up. Let me say something first before I even ask you. I thought it's too premature. It's too early in the season for him to have done something like that, if you ask me. I know the base was open. I say you had to pitch to the guy. I just want to get your take on that. And then Boone really came back at the end and he said, hey, we're even now for the 2003 World Series. I get all of that, and believe me, that killed me as well. But what's your take on what Boone did?
Well, at the time, I'll just reiterate what I said at the time. I just think that sometimes, first of all, if you look at how every intentional walk works out over the course of a year for managers, I think it's not a high percentage.
Right.
So you're always increasing run expectancy when you walk a guy to load the bases. You do. Not walking a guy with the bases loaded, but walking a guy to load the bases. So, and you could argue he didn't hit a ball hard the day before when he got 3 hits. He hadn't hit a ball hard that day. You could argue actually strategically pitching to him was, you could argue that was the right thing to do. But I talked with AJ the next day. So first of all, what I said on the air was, I always love what Ron Gardenhire said that he learned from Tom Kelly, that sometimes you just have to let the guys, the big bats, hit. Yeah. You don't intentionally walk them, home or road, because the fans have paid good money to see them. Let them do what the fans came to see them do, hit. So I kind of like that, and I said that on the air. I talked to AJ the next day. He said there isn't a manager in the game who wouldn't have done what he did, because there is so much riding on every single at-bat, every single game for every manager. Toronto missed the playoffs by 1 win last year. Was there a moment in that season that Charlie Montoya could probably go back and revisit and go, dang, wish I hadn't made that move that cost us a win, that cost us a spot in the postseason? So in the end, I mean, it was the right thing to do. I mean, literally, I think every manager in the game would have done it with a lefty coming up and a lefty on the mound. So But it does bring it back to intentional walks. I don't think people realize there's a reason A.J. Hinch went away from ever issuing an intentional walk for an entire season, because they don't usually work out in the long run.
Cool.
Nice. Dan, check this out. 15 games in, Tigers 6-9. You've had a small sample size of what they're offering in this 2022 season. Going into a triple game series against Minnesota, what have we seen from the Tigers? Are they good enough to play against Minnesota, the number one team in the division?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's at 500 or below, so nobody in the division scares me. When I look at division races, I start with rotations, and I think that's where the edge actually against any other team, and I include Chicago. I just don't think Chicago right now, until they get Lance Lynn back, when you've got you're rolling out Dallas Keuchel and Velasquez, your 4 and 5 starters, they've got some issues in their rotation. When the Tigers get healthy, and Mize and Manning should be back soon, I'm telling you, Bo Brisky's the real deal. He had a terrific start. He's going to get another one. I think the Tigers' rotation actually by the end of the year might stack up better than against all the other 4 rotations in the division. Offense hasn't done anything yet. We know that. They're averaging 3 runs a game, even with the 13 runs that they scored the other day, just barely 3 runs a game. I think this offense needs to be a middle-of-the-pack offense. Can it be with Grossman and Parker Meadows hitting 1-2 and getting on base, and then Baez, driving them in with Candelario and Scope? Think of it. Candelario hasn't done much. Scope hasn't done much. Baez has been on the injured list, just came off. There's not a lot of power, but there should be enough power to be a middle-of-the-pack offense. But right now, the biggest thing to me is what this bullpen has done. The bullpen was 4th best in the second half of last year because A.J. Hinch plays the matchup game better than any manager in the game. I'm willing to say that without any qualifications. He's amazing. He got the most out of the bullpen last year. He had 3 key guys, the back-end leverage guys, injured to start this year. 5 guys who, without the expanded rosters and the injuries, might not have been there to start the year. And they've got the 4th or 5th best ERA, under 3 right now for the bullpen, while the rotation is still kind of getting itself together. So I think those are all very good signs. The offense has to pick up, and it will, but it's going to be about run prevention. That's where the big, and that's defense and pitching. That's where the improvement has to come this year in the biggest way. And I think it will, but right now they haven't been able to get into the season on the hitting side. Now you've got the strong up-the-middle defense with Scope and Baez up the middle. Derek Hill's a big deal in center field. They're having some issues out there until he came back. He's not going to play every day, but he makes a difference out there. So that to me is what you look for going forward. I'm really confident the offense is going to pick up, but it's about run prevention, and they're off to a very good start with that.
All right, forget about that now. Thursday night, Lions are on the clock. They got the number 2 pick, and they got the number 32 pick, Dan. I want to ask you this. Do you want them to take the boring defensive end, or do you want them to roll the dice and take the kid, Malik Willis, or Kenny Pickett, or any damn quarterback that's out there? What does Dan Dickerson want for the Lions?
All right, I think I've already done this for, Mike O'Hara, bless his heart, asked me to do this every year, and I always appreciate that because it makes me look, right? We used to love to do this stuff.
Of course.
Right? I mean, and if you know me at all, Tommy, I want that. I want to build a good defense. Can we have a good defense here in Detroit?
There you go, Dan. There you go, Dan. Tell him, Dan. Tell him, Mr. Dickerson.
Come on.
I don't think that's asking too much. All I know, look, I'm not an expert. All I know is that Georgia, that's the best offense I've seen in a long, long time. And Trayvon Walker was a big part. I know he's only been a starter 1 year of the best college defense of the year, and maybe, I don't know for how long, but that's a heck of a defense.
Let's say this.
I want that guy.
Dickerson.
I want that guy at number 2. And then I want Kenny Walker at 32. I think, I like both quarterbacks, but both quarterbacks, you're not going to pick either one high, right? You're not going to pick either of those guys at 2, Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis.
Yeah, you are.
They might be available at 32.
No, they won't.
But
this guy, Dan Dickerson, is a legend for a reason.
He's
a legend for a reason. He knows.
Braylon and Dickerson versus Armani and Maz.
We
lose every time.
I'm taking Dan every day of the week. Did you hear him on that call? I'm taking Dan every day of the week.
Hey, Dan, thanks so much, my friend. Thanks so much.
Hey, you guys are great.
Appreciate you, teammate.
Thank
Me and
you.
man.
Don't pitch to Byron Buxton.
The great Dan Dickerson, voice of Tigers baseball, on with us there, talking a little NFL draft. He's with you. He wants defense.
Smart guy, man.
We'll get into that NFL draft.
Boring.
I want to tell you something. I want to tell you what general managers are anonymously saying about Malik Willis. Okay? I'm going to just put this out there for you.
I want to hear it. I've read it, but I want to hear you say it to me.
I want to just tell you what they're saying about him. I'm going to do that next, and you can tell me to go, fly a kite.
I won't tell you that.
You can tell me to go fly a freaking kite.
I'll tell you to do that, Benjamin Franklin, after I talk to Maz and tell him about boring players. We'll get there.
But first, as you know, we broadcast this show live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in the great city of Birmingham, Michigan. It is definitely awesome to get off the air and get myself looking great by one of their talented stylists. I highly recommend to you Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men near you, and let them treat you like a king to over 100 locations nationwide, many of them in the Metro Detroit area. Open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, relax. Watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee! Lady Jane's, 7 days a week, 10 to 8. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome. Wicked.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today.
Hey everybody, we cannot wait for Thursday night, and we want to celebrate it with you. It's our Woodward Sports Draft Party downtown at the Brass Rail. Woodward and Adams, that's where we were on opening day. That's where we're going to be. That's where Stick is, always for the post-game show for the Lions. Come on down and see us. We're all going to be down there. Please come out and mix, have some pizza, have some drinks with us. We're going to be there starting at 7 o'clock in the evening, and we're going to take you all the way to the Lions' 32nd pick. A lot of rumors going around. Patriots might want that 32nd pick, and they've made a lot of trades over the last couple of years to check it out. So we're going to be there 7 p.m. all the way to pick number 32, brought to you by Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness. Join us this Thursday, 7 o'clock to pick number 32, Brass Rail, downtown, Woodward Sports Draft Party.
Hey, man, let me ask you a question. You mentioned boring. Yes. Obviously talking about the defensive ends, the rush ends. That would be Kayvon Thibodeau, Jermaine Johnson, Trayvon Walker. They're safe picks, right? Okay, I'll give you that. T.J. Watt, 2 years ago, 15 sacks, playoff team. Is that boring? 2 years ago, Aaron Donald, 13.5 sacks, playoff team. Henderson's 13.5 last year, 14 last year, 13.5 the year before that. Last year, they were in the Super Bowl. Cincinnati. Zadarian Smith, 2 years ago, 12.5 sacks. Well, they only went to the NFC Championship. The point I'm making is it's not boring to get to the quarterback because it's not boring to get to the playoffs, and it's not boring to give yourself a chance to win the Super Bowl. Edge rusher is what you need. I don't care which one it is at this point. You got to have an edge rusher. I'm sticking with Kayvon Thibodeau at 2. It's not boring. It's just not the Josh Allen and all these other ones. But wanting him to be something that he may not be is not going to change what he really is. I'm telling you, Kayvon Thibodeau is not only the safe pick. Yeah. It's a really good pick too, though.
Those guys that you just talked about, none of them are in this draft.
Kayvon Thibodeau's in this draft.
Kayvon Thibodeau is not Aaron Donald.
Kayvon Thibodeau is better at his position than Malik Willis is.
You don't know that.
I do know that. The stats tell me so.
Forget the stats.
My eyes tell me so, man.
My eyes tell me something different.
What do your eyes tell you?
My eyes are older than yours.
I think your ears tell you something because everybody's been telling you, and they're like, you didn't even think about Malik Willis until
I
didn't say you. I didn't say you.
We've been talking about him all year. Just because I don't mention his name Why can't I fall in love with a player? I fell in love with the guy.
I didn't say you couldn't fall in love, Maz. I'm not at all. Don't do this because then the people are going to say I'm yelling at you. No, I didn't say you didn't have eyes. What I simply said is you never mentioned Malik Willis until a month ago.
Oh, my God. I've been mentioning him for months.
Let me say this.
You've been commenting as somebody that said something about him.
Hold on a second here. Hold on a second
here. Go ahead, buddy.
Because this is the guy.
I want my quarterback.
Right here. Let me tell you here. Yeah. So Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, wrote this article over the weekend. And he basically combined what people are talking about in regards to Malik Willis.
Right.
Can I just take a moment, folks, Braylon, Maz, can I just take a moment to read this porn here?
Can you read that bedtime story to me?
This, to me, is NFL draft porn. Okay?
Yeah.
This is everything I want to see when it comes to Malik Willis.
Thank you.
Let me read this to you.
Okay.
Let me tuck myself in.
These are quotes. There's really one guy that's got true NFL traits, an AFC quarterbacks coach said. Willis can run, he can throw it. He's a once every couple of years type of arm. It's not quite Josh Allen, I don't think, but it's damn close. He can create plays. For a 6-foot-tall guy, he doesn't look small because he has a thick build. Good person, smart. He's an energy-giving type of guy. Said an AFC general manager, to me, he's the number one guy in the class. And for whatever people want to talk about in terms of readiness and all that other stuff, it was the same thing with Josh Allen, and it was the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. I think people are a little too short-sighted on this kid. Here's an NFC coordinator. He's the only one with the talent level that deserves to go round one. Now, there's some holes in his game, but to me, he's a better prospect than Trey Lance was a year ago and a better prospect than Justin Fields was a year ago. Those guys went 3 and 11 respectively. Yeah. If I had to take a quarterback in this draft, it would be Willis because he's got the talent to get himself out of a jam when things don't look pretty. Yeah. He's played this is your argument, a lot of other people's argument right here addressed. He's played 2 top 25 programs in the last 2 years. One was against Coastal Carolina, which he beat. The other, Ole Miss, which he lost to. Against those 2 teams, he had 0 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown runs, and 5 picks. That concerns me. But he's got bounce in his step. He's got a smile. Hey, this kid can be electric, and when he is electric, the dudes in the locker room are going to go with him. This is the epitome of a boom or bust pick. Speculation has increased in league circles this week that Willis could go as high as 2 to the Detroit Lions, who coached him in the Senior Bowl and had him in for a visit last Tuesday.
Can I say something? I don't want to poo-poo on your parade, you and Maz. I don't want to. Nothing about that tells me to draft Malik number 2. That basically suggests that in an average draft, which everyone is considering this a very average draft, especially in the first round, he happens to be the best quarterback out of a bunch of other bums.
He is the epitome of a boom or bust
Which means you're only going to hit a home run or you're striking out.
To me. Okay, let me just say this.
I'll take that.
Nothing in that would persuade me to draft Malik Willis after reading.
I'll take the home run.
It would tell me that this is a sorry draft, and I should go with my eyes, which tell me Kayvon Thibodeau is my draft pick.
Let me say this. I got to get up and stand up for a minute.
All right.
There isn't a player in this draft outside of Malik Willis that if it is a boom, and this is the epitome of a boom or bust pick that can impact the franchise as much as Malik Willis. If this kid turns out to be who we think he might be, I'm telling you, this franchise is set back another 8 to 10 years if he goes to Pittsburgh or Carolina or anywhere
Washington.
else and becomes a mix of Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson, even if he's a poor man's Russell Wilson. Another 8 years.
How many quarterbacks do you get a chance to take? People are always trying to get quarterbacks. Look at the big trades this year. Russell Wilson. How many draft picks do you have to give up to get these guys?
I mean,
not only that, if you keep Jared, listen, if you keep Jared Goff, guys, if you keep him, if that's your guy, guess what? You got to pay him in another year again. This kid you got for 5 years at minimum. Minimum salary.
We'll talk more about this coming up. Maz, you have this message on chili peppers tanning. We'll get Braylon's mic fixed. I think we just knocked Braylon's what is that, mental telepathy where we knocked Braylon's mic out?
In.
No, you didn't knock anything
I just heard him click in.
You didn't knock anything off. You go ahead and draft Malik Willis because that's what you believe you need to do. Go ahead. Because the Lions have been burned on previous first-round picks at the quarterback position, I understand the need to want to go there and make sure he's not the guy that burns you yet again. But I'm telling you, to get to these, just like the quarterback position, to get to these Super Bowls, to get in these playoffs consistently, you got to have a defense. You got to have guys that can rush the quarterback. You're looking at a guy that's very similar to me, to Von Miller. I'll leave it at that.
You got more. We got plenty more coming up. But first, I want to tell you about Chili Peppers Tanning. Join the Peppers Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You're going to get all the best deals. They will beat all competitors by $5. How about that? The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, 20 slick locations, more on the way. One right down the street here on Woodward. Check them out at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back on a Monday, back to Woodward Sports Network. We got my man, Ryan and Ronnie, back in the building, as well as Tom Mazaway on the couch. They're back, they're fresh, they're ready to talk about 3 days from now, pretty much. We'll talk about the NFL draft. Malik Willis, that's what we're sticking with. We're sticking with that one, Maz.
They're killing me on YouTube. They're killing me.
And you can kill me all you want to. Let me just say this, okay? The thing with the defensive end, let's say Aiden Hutchinson is available at 2. Let's say the the Jags take Trayvon Walker, who's now the betting favorite, to be taken number 1 overall.
Ekwonu, et cetera.
Or Ekwonu, whoever. Yeah. And you've got Hutchinson, Thibodeau, you've got all these guys available for the Lions to take. It feels so safe to pick one of those guys. Does anybody remember Cleveland Farrell?
Yes, Clemson. Got drafted
That's
to
the
Oakland,
Raiders.
Got drafted to the Oakland Raiders
at
4.
They killed them.
At 4. What impact has he had? Has he had this crazy
I think he's cut.
impact? What about Quinnen Williams?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember Quinnen Williams? This is just a couple of years ago, guys. I mean, he went to
Quinnen Williams out of Alabama. He goes to the New York Jets.
Went to the Jets.
Got injured.
3 overall. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, what impact? Chase Young. Okay, Chase freaking Young.
Pro Bowl, rookie year, gets injured his second year.
Unbelievable.
Right.
But what kind of winning are the Washington football team doing right now?
Well, he went to the Pro Bowl his first year, and then he got injured his second year. You can't blame him for that.
I understand.
I love Chase.
You can't blame him for not playing.
He's a great
Joe
player.
Burrow didn't play.
But I'm saying, like, Chase Young, there isn't Chase Young is not in this draft.
I get that he's not in this draft, but the defensive ends that are in this draft are better than the quarterbacks in this draft. So don't give me this about drafting Malik Willis, because I know I'm just talking, just spitballing. Don't give me this draft, because we need a Josh Allen or you need someone like Patrick Mahomes. I get that. He's just not it. He's just not that it, and it's not getting Kayvon from a safe point. He's the best in this draft to me, and that's the position that we super really need. And you look at all these teams. I'm telling you, on the other side of that quarterback, defensive rush in. That's how you get to the quarterback, get sacks, get your team off the field, give your offense more time. Now it makes it easier. It's ebb and flow. The more points you put up on offense, the more it's ebb and flow. Defensive end, quarterback. I'm just telling you.
Braylon, when are you going to get your quarterback then? Tell me. Listen, answer this one thing. Are you going to stay with Jared Goff for the remaining part of his career? All right, so what are you going to do?
Make Jared Goff look as good as he can this year. Get rid of him
next
year.
No one wants him.
I understand that, but that is my plan. I'm not drafting someone because I'm praying and throwing up a million prayers that's who he was.
Bob told you to draft the quarterback.
When you're in a war room, When you're in, he said draft a quarterback. He didn't say draft one at 2 overall. He knows that we have pick 32 as well as pick 34, and he doesn't anticipate that all these quarterbacks are going before 32. Hell, he didn't even think Malik Willis was going to be in the first round
Here's where it
a month
works
ago.
out. Here's where it works out under your scenario.
Right.
Under your scenario, here's where it works out. If you're the Denver Broncos and you take Bradley Chubb 5 overall, right? Defensive end.
Denver Broncos.
That's right, the Denver Broncos. What you then have to do, though, is you have to make a trade for a guy like Russell Wilson. That's amazing.
Right.
If the Lions can do that 2 years from now, is make a trade for some unbelievable Hall of Fame type quarterback, I'm in.
But that's the way in which the NFL is going now. You got to pay attention to it. You either got to draft a guy in that top 10 or top 15, but it's got to be a guy you really believe in. It can't be a guy somebody forced you. You either do that or you pick up a quarterback. That's what everybody is doing now. Stafford won a Super Bowl last year. They picked up Tom Brady out of retirement 2 years before that. You talked about Russell. Russell got traded this year. That's what you're seeing quarterbacks do. So if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm not necessarily worried about this quarterback draft sucking. I'm just thinking about what the new trend is. There will be a quarterback that is not happy with his team and wants to leave, i.e. Kyler Murray.
Well, Kyler Murray's a good name.
I'm just throwing out how they happen.
Right. Miles Garrett, perfect example.
Yeah.
Miles Garrett, taken number 1 overall by Cleveland. What does Cleveland do? They go get a quarterback, but that quarterback happened to be Deshaun Watson now. That's how guys...
But they drafted Baker Mayfield.
They did take Baker Mayfield 1 overall prior to taking Myles Garrett.
So they went after the quarterback, right.
So they went after the quarterback first and then Myles Garrett. But what I'm saying is, for all of these defensive players that have gone in the top 5 in recent years, the teams have subsequently had to go out and get these quarterbacks if they're going to have any success, i.e. Bradley Chubb going 5 to Denver. Denver then subsequently going out and getting Russell Wilson. Myles Garrett going number 1 to Cleveland, subsequently going out and getting Deshaun Watson. What about Nick Bosa going number 2 or 3 to San Francisco? Well, they have gone out and gotten their quarterback, Trey Lance, at 3. That's what they did. Whether he's good or not, we don't know. But they ultimately drafted a quarterback number 3 overall. You've got to get your quarterback at some point. Right. Now, whether you take the guy in the draft, in the top 5 of the draft, or you think that player is out there that you can go get, that's fine. I don't know how many teams. Your team has to be kind of perfect for you to go out and get a $40 million quarterback. Because that's what it's going to cost you in 2 years if it's not a rookie.
Everybody that you just named, they had their quarterback already. They draft Myles Gaston number 1. They draft Myles Garrett number 1. You know why? Because they drafted Baker Mayfield number 1 the year before that. Cleveland Farrell, they went out and got him. Clemson had a great defensive line. It didn't work out for him. But you know why they went and got Cleveland Farrell? Because they already had Derek Carr, somebody they believed in, on his secondary. So everybody you name had a quarterback.
Yeah. No, except for Denver. Denver had what? Drew Lock? Denver didn't have a quarterback.
I want to say it was at the end, yeah.
If you guys want to be like Indianapolis and Washington and Denver looking for their quarterback, it's 10 years now.
That's a great example.
If you want
Washington.
that, then go ahead and take the freaking guy on Georgia on the best defense. You really don't know how great he is because there are other 5 other great guys on that defense. Thibodeau, you don't have the personality. Dan Campbell says, I don't like him. I'm just reading what he says.
I get that, but at the same time, at least the Colts are in the playoffs or close to the playoffs every year. They have a system in play, which means they're going to get the quarterback right, and Matt Ryan could be that quarterback to get it right. So with that being said, they at least have a foundation with a defense behind Darius Leonard that gets to the quarterback. They give their offense a chance with Jonathan Taylor. At least they have a foundation in place. Because this year, missed the playoffs by 1 game. Should have beat the Jaguars. We know who that was on. That's on Carson Wentz. The year before that, another plug-in player quarterback, Phillip Rivers, Mr. Come Out of Retirement, make the playoffs. They have a system in play. The Detroit Lions fan base will much rather tell you we'd rather be at least in the playoffs than sitting here waiting for it every year to get the right pick.
Keyshawn Johnson thinks the Lions should stick with Jared Goff. You'll hear what he has to say, but first, a message from Syntron.
Oh, man, we got these new reads. That was on me. Sorry about that. The summer of Centron is here, and now Centron is available at Kroger. Check them out. We've gone from Woodward Sports Network to Kroger. Partners with the Detroit Pistons as well as the Red Wings. Check this out. Their premium bottled water beverages are amazing, and their line of revitalizer shots are excellent. Check out that turmeric and pineapple. They want to be here for the moment, so you should be here for the moments with them. Drink it, live it, Centron.
At Wingsnob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wingsnob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey, it's Maz for Big Boy, and their signature buffet is back. They just finished the seafood buffet. Now you have the signature buffet. Treat yourself this weekend, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy. Enjoy your favorites. 2 kinds of eggs, bacon, sausage, Polish sausage, garlic mashed potatoes, garlic mushrooms, grits, red skin potatoes, waffles, hot cakes, French toast, fruit, and more. I'm starving. Weekdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get it at Big Boys.
I think in terms of what they need everything, right, Mel? They don't need a quarterback. They got a quarterback in Jared Goff. Jared Goff gets a bad rap because of the way it all ended in Los Angeles for him. He took a team to a Super Bowl, multiple playoff appearances, a Pro Bowl for whatever it's worth, a $100 million contract. The Detroit Lions got a lot of draft picks. Use them to build the roster. A quarterback is the least of your worries, and I think they're smart enough to understand that and know that. Surround him with great talent. Give him an opportunity to succeed. We saw Matthew Stafford in Detroit. We saw Matthew Stafford in Los Angeles. We also saw Jared Goff take a team to a Super Bowl in Los Angeles when he had talent around him. So he can play. It would be a mistake to take any quarterback in this draft in the first round and replace Jared Goff, because Jared Goff, simply and plain, is better than every quarterback in this draft right now.
I don't typically agree with him. But
I mean,
I don't typically agree with him, but he's right on this one.
Look, I mean, look, I like Jared Goff. Okay, I really do, and I think you can win with Jared Goff. Do I think you can win next year with Jared Goff?
You don't want to pay him though.
But that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I don't think you can win with Jared Goff's talent combined with his salary. I mean, in a year from now, just when the Lions are going to get good, right? I mean, if you say that you're targeting 2 years from now, not 2022 season, but the 2023 season and beyond, as being the years that you think the Lions could be a perennial playoff team, competing for division champion. Forget about the playoff. Let's be honest. Forget about the frickin' playoffs for a second, okay? Who wants to be compete for a frickin' division? Win a division championship. Don't be your goal. Oh, you want to get in, backdoor your way into the playoffs, be a 6 or a 7 seed as a wild card. Go compete in the division, win the division championship, and then see where your cards play out. But if you are going to be that team, Braylon, I don't think you can do that with paying Jared Goff $35 to $38 million a year, which in 2023, 2024 is going to be the salary that he commands. I don't think you can win that way. So when do you want to start the clock? When do you start the clock on getting a quarterback? If you believe a Russell Wilson, a Deshaun Watson type player is going to be available for you at the end of the 2023 season, by all means carry on with Jared Goff. If you don't think so, then I think you got to start the clock now on a quarterback.
I think there's always going to be new quarterbacks. I mean, look at Kirk Cousins. Every year, is Kirk Cousins up for another contract? Every year, we're talking about, is he staying in Minnesota? Where is he going? Aaron Rodgers almost left Green Bay twice. You see what Russell Wilson did this year. He left. No one thought he would leave until the beginning of the season. And now at the end of the season, here he is now at Denver Bronco, and the list goes on. Kyler Murray was unhappy for a second. Deebo Samuel, I know he doesn't play quarterback, but he's unhappy. There will be a quarterback there. That is the one thing that I was going to say caveat. Shout out to my boy D-Mac. That is the one thing, though, to your point. Paying that $35,500 for 4 years, that does hurt, and that will be one of the things that will have me. You know what? If you guys draft in the league, well, it's fine. If he's there at 32, I will love it. But with that being said, there's something to building the way the team, the way in which Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are trying to build the team. It's something to it. And I'm buying into their moves I just don't think it's Malik Willis. I think they're trying to build from defense. And that's why I stick with that, man, and figure it out next year. I think they're doing a great job, but
okay, listen. If I go with your route, Braylon,
right,
and your route is perfect. I love it. I love defense.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor's my favorite all-time player.
Micah Parsons
is my second all-time favorite player.
He had 13 sacks last year.
He's pretty good.
Just throwing that out there.
Let me throw this out at you then. If you want to go that route, and you don't want to take a quarterback, then go get Baker Mayfield because he's better than Jared Goff.
Who did I say the Lions were going to pick up?
You didn't say Baker Mayfield.
I tweeted out. I said sometime in round 1, Thursday to Friday morning, Detroit Lions are going to be in on Baker Mayfield. Like, I promise you. I don't know how. I don't know what happens, but I'm telling you they're going to be in on that. So I actually agree with you on that. But I think that would be a much better move. But how do you move Jared Goff?
I don't know.
The problem. How do you move that contract?
Does Baker Mayfield
18.9?
Does he go by Thursday or does he get through the draft?
He could be cut.
Well, that's
what I'm saying.
They only do one round Thursday, so I think he's on somebody else's roster halfway through second round, and probably before the second round even starts. That'll be a Monday, but like a late night, Thursday morning move. Baker Mayfield, I think, will be moved before the draft starts Thursday night. Friday night.
Yeah.
I got the old Baker is not better than Goff routine going here on YouTube now. Listen, guys, he's the better quarterback. He's got the better upside of Goff and him. He has the better upside. Yes, Cleveland gave up on him, but how'd they give up on him? They got the best guy out there, Deshaun Watson. That's who Ryan and I have been telling you from day one. The Lions should just mortgage their future and have gotten Deshaun Watson. Then we'd not been talking. Then we're not talking right now. They let that go. Cleveland, I take my hat off to them. They had a quarterback. They said, this guy can't take us to the next level. Maybe he can. Yeah. I know Deshaun Watson can. They went and got him. The Lions just can't sit. They can't stand pat with this guy because he's up for another deal in another year.
I will defend time to the group, to our B-liners. Shout out to B-liners. We appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, and supporting as always. But Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Like, we know this to be a fact. Like, yes, Jared Goff did go to the Super Bowl. Much of that was on the legs of Todd Gurley as opposed to Brandon Cooks. And then also Aaron Donald first kind of getting out. That's when they started really, really playing well in that defensive line, played really well. So, yes, he did get to the Super Bowl, but nothing special has ever happened with Jared Goff. Jared Goff has never shown me one special moment, with the exception of the Monday night game against the Chiefs. That was a hell of a game. But he's never shown me anything special. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, has had his moments. I mean, you look at what he did the year that they were good, when they had everybody, as advertised. They go to the playoffs. They almost beat the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes was injured, but they almost beat the Chiefs. So I think he's had more success in that one year. I give you that. The problem with Baker is Baker still hasn't addressed who he is. Baker still hasn't looked himself in the mirror and had the conversation. Like, even now, they unveiled the statue in Oklahoma. It's the ugliest statue I've ever seen.
What was the comparison to?
Terminator, T-1000. Yeah. Like, he looks just like the Terminator, T-1000. Came out with 1991. But he still hasn't had that conversation with him, and that's what scares me about Baker. If I'm a team that wants to get in on Baker, because I saw Baker in 2020, because I saw Baker in college, I saw flashes. Thing that scares me is he's still blaming everybody else. He's still doing podcasts, not accepting his fault in the situation. Don't get me wrong. Cleveland did run him up with some BS because they could have saved him from himself last year. That's your job as the organization. 100%. And the GM and the owner. Where's the owner to say, hey,
they were
y'all don't let him play? So it's not all his fault. But with that said, he's got to look himself in the mirror. Like I said last week, look, I'm not as tall as I thought I was. I'm not as fast as I thought I was. My arm isn't strong as I thought I was. But I'm still a damn good player. And this is how I'm going to win on your franchise. Hasn't had that conversation yet. I don't trust him yet.
He's a kneecap biter, too.
Yeah, definitely a kneecap biter.
I just, look, Maz, I didn't think about it like this, but the Washington football team, that's who you are when you're building up every portion of your team. They've got everything except the quarterback. Denver had it all except the quarterback. Now they went out and got Russell Wilson. But, again, if you are banking on finding that perfect fit for you when you're – how crappy would it be just to have this totally complete team and no quarterback? 2 years from now. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, Guardian Alarm. They keep you safe and gives you peace of mind. Whether you're at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. 1-800-STAY-OUT right now. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. We'll talk to Dave Birkett coming up next. Braylon Edwards.
Guardian Alarm, defense. Now you're getting the idea. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Stay out.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope, a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other diehard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adam, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddie, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for Draft Day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
Hour number 2, a very spirited hour number 1 of the program here on Woodward Sports. Look, we're having fun. This is NFL Draft Week. I mean,
none of us know what we're talking about.
I feel like I'm repeating myself over the last 6 weeks. I want the quarterback. Sue me. I want the quarterback because when Malik Willis turns out to be a mix of Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson, I'm going to probably be standing on top of this desk saying, I told you so. I told you so.
I'll be in a mental home.
And if he's not, we'll throw away the tape and pretend like nobody ever saw it. Anyway, guys, let's bring him in. He's our good friend from the Detroit Free Press, Lions beat writer, Freep.com, Dave Birkett with us now. Dave, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, guys?
Hey, Dave.
Man, you tell me, what's the latest? Hearing that the trade talk has cooled at number 2.
Yeah, I don't know that it was ever that hot.
Yeah, right.
Other than everyone wanting to trade, Lions fans it is, and probably Brad Holmes too wanting to trade out of that spot. But there's just not that type of player in this year's draft. I don't think that teams will be clamoring to come up and get. But there still is a lot of mystery, man. We're a couple days out here, and I know the Trayvon Walker rumors are hot and heavy about number 1. Look, I still, who knows if that's a smokescreen right now. There's certainly merit to looking at Walke's draft history and thinking that that's the direction that he could go. Aiden Hutchinson to me is still the number 1 player in this draft, probably the safest pick. I think to call him a try-hard guy is to sell him short of what he can do, though, too. He's more than that. He's a really good player. He certainly, if he's there at number 2, he would strike me as an easy pick for the Lions.
Hey, Dave, I want to ask you, is this a 2-part question? 1, is this the most unpredictable NFL draft that you can remember in your time covering the Lions? That's 1. And 2, if Hutchinson is on the board for the Lions at 2, is it a foregone conclusion that they take him?
I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion, right? They've done a lot of homework on Kayvon Thibodeau, and you could make the case that Sauce Gardner is the best player in this draft. I mean, a potentially elite cornerback where maybe these defensive ends, there's some question about what their ceiling is. So, but I would think that Hutchinson, just because he checks all the boxes that we associate with being a Dan Campbell type of player, plus he has the production. Plus, he's a good run defender. I mean, he plays a premium position. I would think that would be the choice for the Lions. Not your guy, Ryan. I can get.
Don't piss him off.
Yeah. And what was the second question? I forget. I'm sorry.
No, just is this the most unpredictable draft that you've ever seen in your time covering the Lions?
As far back as I can remember, I know people have mentioned 2018 when the Browns took Baker Mayfield, and that was a little, there was some uncertainty who was going to go number one there, but everyone knew it was going to be a quarterback. I think this one, you don't even know. Most of the talk is about Walker and Hutchinson, but would it shock you if the Jacksonville Jaguars took an offensive lineman?
No.
At number one? I mean, Ekwonu is a lot of people think he's the best player in this draft. So I think there's enough uncertainty, not just at one, but at two. And because these prospects are so evenly rated, as Brad Holmes said, and, some of them may seem like better fits than others for teams, that this really is as uncertain as I can remember.
Dave Birkett joins us, Detroit Free Press, Lions Beat. Dave, you have your 4.0 out today, and you have not cared that the word on the street is that Dan Campbell doesn't like Kayvon Thibodeau because you have him going at number 2, and you have Quay Walker going at number 32. So bring us up to snuff on that.
Yeah, I guess I'm just the contrarian here, right? Jermaine Johnson for a long time.
Yep.
Still not off.
That's still good.
I still like Jermaine Johnson.
We like him. We've been giving you your credit on him.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit
on him.
I could see him going there. I mean, I think the Giants would be another team that would be in the mix for him with one of their picks. I like him. But look, Thibodeau, I wrote this, that there definitely is I think some validity to the concerns about how his personality would play in an NFL locker room and with the culture that the Lions are trying to build. There's definitely some valid concerns there, but I can tell you I've talked to some people over the last couple of weeks that have been around them. I wrote one of the things I wrote today. I mentioned that I think the Lions, they're meeting with him at the combine well better than some other teams that I've heard. And someone that was around him at the combine, not with the Lions, but with another organization, said that he carried himself like a professional. He just wanted to know what the schedule was. I mean, obviously people had concerns with him backing out of some workouts, but that he was, he just wanted to get his work in that he would normally be doing anyway. So that spoke a little bit in this person's eyes to some of the maturity that he had. So ultimately, I guess I came to the conclusion that even though there are some concerns, I think one of Dan Campbell's strengths is his ability to let everyone be themselves, to fit that person, in his team and in his locker room. And so I think if Hutchinson goes 1, I think Walker has a little more upside than Jermaine Johnson, and he's more of a defensive end than Trey Walker. But ultimately, I can see this 4.
Yeah, I just think, Dave, I just think everything as it relates to Kayvon Thibodeau, I mean, I think that's just part of being a young kid. I mean, he's still a junior coming out of Oregon. Like, that's how I was, coming out there. I mean, I backed out. Well, I never agreed to do the workouts, but because you got enough film. But I think that's just a part of the process, man. I think he's going to be a good kid. I paid attention. I watched some of his interviews. He did a really good interview piece with Tom Rinaldi earlier on in the year around October. It's a great piece. He's a chess player. Like, He's a guy that you want. I think all this is smoke and mirrors. Once he gets inside that locker room, he's a guy that's going to get to the quarterback, and who's not going to rally around a guy like that. The only question I have for you is this. Everybody keeps making it about this isn't a great number 1 round draft. Now, obviously, after that, it's a ton of good players in the draft, just not a particularly good round 1 draft. If you're the Lions, why not just rank your player, the highest player, just rank the highest player and draft that person and call it a day? Who's the highest person on the Lions draft board? Draft that player and move on.
What about Garrett
offensive lineman?
Garrett Wilson.
You said what?
Garrett Wilson.
I mean, if that's how you feel, I wouldn't pull the trigger on that one if I was the Lions. But I'm assuming it's going to be a defensive player.
Dave,
Sauce Gardner, Stingley, Jermaine Johnson, etc.
Dave, who would surprise you? Who would surprise you?
There you go. Good question.
Lineman.
Yeah.
I think an offensive lineman there. I just, because they're so set there, it just doesn't seem like it would be the right fit for the Lions. A quarterback too, just from what I've heard of late. Like I think those quarterbacks might end up dropping a little bit. But No, I mean, Braylon, what you said, like, that's ultimately what the Lions will do, and I think most teams will do, and it's just a matter of, most years there's a little more consensus about, right, there's 3 elite guys, and so those guys are going to go 1, 2, 3, or a team needs a quarterback, and they really like this guy, they're going after this guy. This year, I think part of the issue is that there's, let's say, 8 guys that are fairly comparably graded, and none of them have that combination of grade and positional value and everything that makes them a surefire top 3 pick. So that's where some of that falls in. And I will say, look, the typical thing, again, I've definitely heard it's not just about missing, sitting out workouts at the combine. Like there definitely are some people that are don't feel comfortable with his personality or how we mesh in locker rooms. I don't know that his upside is not necessarily. People don't necessarily think he's Myles Garrett either. If they did, I think that would be an easier pick at number 1. No. So for all this talk about Aiden Hutchinson and maybe having a limited ceiling, like there's no. I don't know that. I do think Kayvon has a higher ceiling, but I don't know how much higher it is when we talk to him.
Also, we have to be very mindful of where rumors or where leaked information come from. I'll give you a prime example. There was a defensive back coach at Michigan when I was at Michigan. He coached my freshman year. He coached my sophomore year. If you have Google, use that information. You go figure it out yourself. He coached my freshman year. He coached my sophomore year. Then he was gone. He went to the NFL. He went to the Seattle Seahawks. Actually, mind you, he actually spent some time in Detroit. He badmouthed me when I was coming out. Like, he said a lot of things. And keep about what he knows about me. He knew me as an 18-year-old kid. Then a 19-year-old kid, and then he left. Badmouth me, said a lot of things. And he came out, and I finally got to the bottom of it years later. But we didn't like each other. Like, it is what it is. We didn't like each other. So that's why you always got to be very mindful of who's leaking information about a player, who's saying certain things. Because a lot of times it comes from a place of hate, it comes from a place of disgust, or it comes from a place of where you used to be and no longer are.
Well, to that point, I mean, you look at all the work that the Lions have done on Thibodeau, and not just Thibodeau, I mean, really all these guys in the top 10, right? Kayvon in particular, they went and watched him play a game this year. Brad Holmes did a game against UCLA. Obviously, the West Coast scouts were all over the Oregon program. They met with him at the combine. They brought him in for a 30 visit. I mean, there have been numerous opportunities for them to get comfortable with him and learn everything that they need to know about him. So I think, to your point, Braylon, that's why teams, in the Lions in particular, why they want to have this sort of even playing field between all these guys that they're looking at. They want to do as much work as possible so that way they can make the most informed decisions and not fall sway to one person's opinion.
Dave, what are the odds that Baker Mayfield winds up here?
I just don't see it. I mean, I don't see it right now, at least, because I think, could he end up, the scenario that I could see him ending up here is like next year when he's a free agent and, whatever team has him doesn't pick up his 5th-year option. The Lions want to move on from Jared Goff, and that's the scenario that I can see him being here. For the money that he's owed, what the Lions have at the quarterback position right now, which I think Jared Goff is complimented to Baker Mayfield in terms of being a player and his ceiling. It just makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me that they would spend whatever it takes, money or compensation to bring him aboard.
Got it.
The great Dave Birkett. You can catch him on Twitter at Dave Birkett. You can check him out on the Free Press, freak.com. Lions beat writer. Spend $1. Subscribe to the Free Press.
Mock 4.0.
Thanks so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate your perspective and your time. Thanks for doing this, my man.
You got it, guys.
You got it. You got it. Dave Birkett, guys. Again, check him out at Dave Birkett, and of course, freak.com. Spend $1. Great content there. And a lot of Dave stuff is behind the paywall, so spend $1.
Good thing I always love about reading his mock drafts or his mocks 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, etc. is I always like reading picks 15 through 32. He gets real good. Like, everybody tends to do well in the first 10, or everybody has the same people kind of floating them around in the top 10, top 12. He really takes his time and he really dives into what a player, like, what makes up him getting drafted at this pick. What is the team looking for? What is about it that he has that this team could want? Like, he came out with that Jermaine Johnson pick. That was early. Nobody was talking about that. Now you see his name on a lot of mock drafts from the 12-point down. So he does a lot of good research on his picks.
A couple of things I want to clean up about the Lions in the NFL draft coming coming up this week. A couple of things that Dave said. Also want to get to some NBA talk.
Man.
Just incredible what's going on with Ben Simmons. Just incredible. So NFL, NBA coming at you.
Somebody got played on that Rookie of the Year, but I don't hang.
But first, this message from Sticker Genius.
Sticker Genius is the official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. Sticker Genius put all of this beautiful wall covering all over the Woodward Sports studios in less than a day. If you go to their website at stickergenius.com, you'll see that they will offer custom stickers, window graphics, and so much more. If you want to see what they can do with you, just visit stickergenius.com. This is the bottom line. That's Ryan Armani. That's Braylon Edwards. That's Alex Mayer. That's Tom Mazaway. I am Flannel Sam. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, a mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
After you leave Chili Peppers, why don't you go to your liquor store and ask for Gypsy Vodka by name, because it is smooth as silk. Gluten-free. Adam and Mike got it right. Over 50 formulas went into getting the right formula. It is pure. That's because they had countless taste tests and they got it right. Don't forget, Gypsy Vodka by name. And if you're going to drink responsibly.
Guys, I know in my heart of hearts, okay?
Don't say it.
I know it.
Don't say it.
The Lions are not going to pick Malik Willis
Don't
at
say
2.
it.
I know that.
Too late.
Okay? I want them to. I think he's a difference maker. I think he's more of a difference maker than anybody they will select in this draft. And I rattled off the players for you. You know, Myles Garrett, Bradley Chubb, those guys are really good players. You know, great players. Chase Young is a great player. He's got no quarterback. He's on a team without a great quarterback. So, I mean, his impact is minimalized, for lack of a better way to say it. Until this team gets their quarterback of the future, I don't think they can win, like be serious about winning. I don't think they can be serious about winning until this team gets a quarterback of the future. Because I don't believe you could pay Jared Goff $38 million a year and be successful.
No, you're right.
Now, whether that's Malik Willis or somebody in a trade 2 years from now, I don't know. I look at the Washington football team, and I look at the Russian roulette they're playing with their quarterback situation. I don't want to be that.
Nah. No, I understand that, but they've been trying for a while. It's not their fault. They drafted RG3. RG3 wins Rookie of the Year. He beats out Andrew Luck for Rookie of the Year. He's on his way, tears his knee up, and never could come back. Then he had to go to Kirk Cousins' route. Insert quarterback here.
Dwayne Haskins.
They've been trying. Drafted Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. Drafted him. They've been trying. So at least we haven't been trying. That's the only thing. When you mention Myles Garrett as it relates to this conversation, you got to stop. Because you mentioned Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is up for defensive player every year. He's up for defensive player of the year. He's balling. They go to the playoffs.
But that's my point. That's precisely my point. He's up for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's that damn good.
Right.
And what has Cleveland won?
They went to the second round of the playoffs and almost got to the AFC Championship game.
Okay.
Insert everybody gets injured the following year. Not trying to make excuses.
Just saying.
Everyone was injured. Nick Chubb, injured. Kareem Hunt, injured. Myles Garrett, the only one that wasn't. Quarterback, Baker Mayfield, injured. Odell Beckham, injured. Juice Landry, injured. Njoku, out for the year.
Fair. That's fair. What's the best case scenario for a player that is selected by the Lions here at 2? Best case scenario. Let's just say Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, Sauce Gardner becomes not only an all-pro, not only a Pro Bowler, but an all-pro. You know, I don't think under any of those circumstances, if those players are that great, that it's still going to have the impact that you need to play with Tampa, to play with the Rams, to play with any of these elite teams, Buffalo, Kansas City. Play with any of these elite teams until you get the quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
But I agree with you, but the quarterback's not in this draft. And all I'm saying is I'm not just going to draft a quarterback just because we need a transitional a quarterback to a generational talent to take over and become what we see in the playoffs. I agree with you 100%. We're not going to win until we get there. We absolutely not. But he's just not out there right now. So you can't force Malik Willis to be that guy. Read what you said from Tom Pelissero again. None of that said anything about him being special. It said he's got the biggest arm in the draft and one of the bigger arms every 3 or 4 years. Guess what? I know a dude on the east side of Detroit can throw the ball 75 yards, did not make the NFL. His name was Dan Dickerson. Said he's fast. Guess what? I know a bunch of cats that are fast that don't make it as generational talents at the quarterback position. I watched all his film. As more and more we talk about Malik Willis, as more and more as it got close to being true, I've watched it. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he has a big arm. So the hell what? None of that mentions anything that he can do in terms of decision making. It doesn't mention how he goes through reads. It doesn't talk about how he makes his teammates better. It says he has great energy.
Say that.
No, it said he had great energy. Now he damn sure does have great energy.
Him. They said they'd follow him.
I feel you, man, but you guys keep saying they're a team.
Look, we don't know, Braylon.
Right? No, we don't know. This is just
Ryan and I. We don't know. Jack.
I don't know.
We don't know Jack.
I'm not a GM.
I just know I see a player, and he looks like the player to me. He looks like a guy that I'd want leading my team. Yeah, he hasn't showed Jack yet.
Then how does he look like the guy that's going to lead your team, man? Just because you see him throwing ball by himself?
Man. You got it. You got me on that.
I'm just saying, like, when I watch, go back and watch. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Well, what I was about to say, Bray, is I want the Lions to have, like, you could have all the tools in the world. You need somebody to craft it.
Yeah.
I want the Lions to look at a guy and say, you know what? He does need a ton of work. Maybe he needs a crap ton of work. But we believe he's got all the makings of everything we need in a good quarterback, in an elite quarterback. We believe that we can coach him up. Yeah. We can craft him into the quarterback that we need him to be, because we're going to pick out the things that he does well, and we're going to build a team around that. I look at some elite Hall of Fame type quarterbacks now. You know, I know Patrick Mahomes, and again, I'm not trying to compare Malik Willis to Patrick Mahomes, but the idea is nobody was clamoring for Patrick Mahomes to be this once-in-a-generation type quarterback going first overall in the NFL draft. Nobody said that. And if you say you said that, you're lying. They're those guys. Russell Wilson was what, a third-round pick? A second-round pick, and Matt Hasselbeck was
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn.
They paid Matt Flynn, and then never started.
Yeah, exactly. I know Russell Wilson won at Wisconsin, but nobody pegged Russell Wilson as some Hall of Fame type quarterback.
They also drafted him in the 40s. They did their due diligence. They didn't take Russell Wilson, somebody they weren't sure at 2. They took him in the 40s.
If you could redraft Russell Wilson now, would he go at 2?
Yes, but we're not talking about going it. We're talking about actually being number 2.
If you could redraft Patrick Mahomes, wouldn't you do that at 1? What I'm trying to say is, if you think that you can develop that guy into being that guy, you got to take, in this particular draft where there is no guarantee.
Right.
Not one player in this draft is a guarantee. Not Sauce Gardner, not Thibodeau, not Hutchinson. I don't care. I love Aiden Hutchinson. He's not TJ Watt. Okay? It's just not. Maybe Max Crosby? You know? Well, it's a very fine player. That's good. That's safe.
That's very good. If you're Max Crosby.
I appreciate the conversation. I think you're spot on. They didn't necessarily know, but what I do know is when you look at Malik Willis' stats, you look at his games, the games he's played, versus looking at Patrick Mahomes' stats. You saw way more there for Patrick Mahomes, way more in the conversation. 5,000 yards his last year, 4,800 yards the year before that, 47 touchdowns, followed by 42 touchdowns. So I'm saying you have more of an actual, like you could analyze. I see him in this. Even the draft report about Patrick Mahomes, if I remember correctly, said he had the big arm, said he was great, said he had good speed for a quarterback, made good decisions. They gave everything that he does well, all the great stuff. They mentioned that in the report. But the one thing they said once he has one bad play, it turns into 15 bad plays, like we saw this year in the beginning of the season. You did see that.
Let me just throw something out at Braylon before we go to the break.
Okay.
You love Deebo Samuel, right?
I think he's a good player. I don't even think he's top 5 wide receiver. I think he's one of those players that they're great players.
He don't even want to be that anymore.
What do you think it would take to get him? I'm not trading number 2 to get him.
Right.
But I would trade 32 and something else to get him.
The market's been set.
I think 32. I think 32 and
that won't get it. You got to be 32 and something.
I said so I said 32 and 2 next year. Stick, I think, hit the nail on the head, and I wouldn't give that for him, but I think he hit the nail on the head. Stick said 32 and 34. Stick said 32 and 34 and get it done.
You gotta go look and see what Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill got, right? No,
not necessarily, because there's more film on them and they've accomplished more. Plus, they're great wide receivers. Like, I think Debo's got some work to do with the wide receiver position. But the other thing, though, about having Deebo Samuel, you pay him now. You pay him what, $22 million if you get him this year, versus waiting for a wide receiver that you're going to have to pay $30 million.
Can we sit on this? Get to it next.
Yeah, he blasted Adam Schefter too.
I know he did. And then another thing about Deebo Samuel, which makes him totally off limits to me. Actually, I'll tell you why that is. We'll do that next. But first, a message from MyBookie.
Oh, MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Of course, that's where I put all my sports gambling wagering in, and use that promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag. Don't forget it. Right now, you can bet some baseball. You got NBA playoffs going on, and who knows? You could probably bet on the NFL draft. Who's going at number 1? Who's going at number 2? It's all there at mybookie.ag. The promo code is Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please use the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey gang, I want to tell you about Wingsnob fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. That's right, Wingsnob, the best traditional wings, the best all kind of wings. They're just the best, period. Let me tell you, that Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper, ooh-wee, tossed to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Look for a location near you and order online. Wingsnob.com, wingsnob.com. We just have better wings.
Elon Musk just dropped $44 billion.
It is official, I believe. I never in a million years thought that would go through.
That's still leaving with like $66 billion left.
No, he's got about $270 million.
Oh, he's got more. I'm sorry.
$270 billion, and he just gave up $44 billion. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
What's he want to do with it?
Well, I don't know. He says he wants to create a platform that he thinks he can unlock the potential of Twitter and make it great.
I hope he takes away all the bad people.
Well, that would be great. I think he's going to I don't know what he's going to do, but you know, nobody makes this big of a deal out of it when Mark Zuckerberg buys Instagram or when China owns TikTok.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. But Elon Musk, because he's seen as a more conservative type, buys Twitter and the world freaks out. You know, I mean, did we go this bonkers when Mark Zuckerberg bought Instagram?
I didn't even know he bought it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
how did he? I know he's the Tesla man.
Yeah.
But how the hell do you make $300 billion?
You're very, very smart.
Huh? I don't get it. SpaceX, yes.
Yeah. He puts people out. He puts people in orbit.
I just don't get it. Twitter for $44 billion.
Between money and power, it's always a unique dichotomy to me because, look, for Elon Musk to buy Twitter, Twitter had to decide whether they wanted to keep the power or go broke. Because if he would have pulled out of that, Twitter stock would have went down. And your first obligation when you're a public company is to make money for your shareholders. And that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So
whoa.
We'll see where that goes. But Elon Musk buys Twitter. That is apparently official.
44 bills?
Just happened in the last minute or so.
Amazing.
I want to stick with this Deebo Samuel because last week...
And he still has over $250 billion.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's what we were talking about. It's incredible. Deebo Samuel, to me, is off limits now for the Detroit Lions. And the reason he's off limits to me is because he doesn't want to be what makes him Deebo Samuel. He doesn't want to be used the way San Francisco uses Deebo Samuel. And to me, that's like saying you're Adam West and you don't want to be known as Batman. You know, I mean, to use
that's a great one.
You know, I mean, that's
a win right there, buddy.
What's Leave It to Beaver's name? Jerry. What's his name?
Jerry Mathers.
Jerry Mathers doesn't want to be known as Leave It to Beaver.
I was like, Jerry, who? Who the hell is that?
I mean,
Leave It to Beaver. I know that guy.
What's another? I mean,
were you a little harder on the Beaver last night?
If you're Deebo Samuel,
8 miles per hour.
Look, you are one of one.
Yeah.
You are one of the most unique players in the NFL. And if you strip away half of what makes you you, I'm not going to pay the freight for that.
So, I am in agreement with both sides. I am in agreement with you, and I'm also in agreement with Deebo Samuel. I'll tell you why. I'm in agreement with you. Something that made you great, then you got to, try to, at least until you get paid. And then after you get paid, maybe you say, you're using me. But the reason why I understand why he's doing that, Ryan, is look how fast we talk about the running back position. They just disappear. We talked about this last week with Stick. It was Ezekiel Elliott. He's getting paid. He's balling. He's doing his thing. Now people are trying to get rid of him. All last year, you guys tried to start Pollard and get rid of Ezekiel Elliott. I haven't even heard from Todd Gurley. Has there been any Todd Gurley signings? When did those happen? The load that gets put on running backs, it gives them a quick shelf life. Quick shelf life, can't play that long. Got to make the money when they can, and then they're out of the league, then they're gone. Same thing's going to happen with Deebo Samuel. Every time you looked up during a 49ers game, who the hell had the ball? It's Deebo Samuel, whether it was a reverse, whether it was a quick screen, whether it was a rushing play.
And look at him last year in the playoffs, he was exhausted. Did you see how many times he had to come off the field?
He's done.
Yes.
He was done. Not to mention he's a high-octane, high-energy guy, so that takes your energy away from you as well. And then to do all of that, because they created that position during the season. That wasn't even going into last year, his role. They created that, and it kind of started to take a life of its own around October, November. But they created that. And so then what does Deebo do in offseason? Deebo's thinking, oh, shoot, all this usage that they got on me next year. And then with all these receivers getting paid, I just know I'm about to get paid. They haven't talked to him. They haven't offered him a deal. Now, I don't know the behind the scenes, what else is going on, but I know there's been no deal offered. I know there's been no talk between the two. Why would I want to continue operating, letting teams use me that much when they don't appreciate it, and I'm going to be out the league in 2 seconds? Meanwhile, wide receiver is now the number 2 paid position. I can just get paid to be wide out. I'm cool with that.
I don't in any way, shape, or form hate on Deebo for wanting to preserve his career. I, in fact, applaud him for saying this now instead of getting traded to an organization or signing an extension with an organization and then going back and telling that organization, oh, hey, by the way.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you picked up the wrong guy because I don't want to do these things. I think this is great. I want no part of Deebo Samuel now if he doesn't want to be the Deebo Samuel that I know in the NFL.
And that's why I say I agree with you. Yeah. I agree 100%. I never had Deebo in like the top 2 wide receivers. I had him as a full player, like as a talent, as a playmaker, like Tyreek Hill.
He's flex.
Tyreek Hill took a second to actually learn the wide receiver position. He was learning as he went. Now he's a good wide receiver, but he started off just doing a bunch of everything.
In Rich Rod's offense, he would be tabbed athlete.
Exactly. Oh, it'd be Sam McGuffey. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, it's like a quarterback. If you tell me I got to start doing all these direct snaps and direct runs, like, why do you think Lamar Jackson's contract, I guarantee, is taking so long? He doesn't like the way in which Greg Roman uses him. This time, look, I don't want all these direct snaps. I don't want, not direct snaps, he's a quarterback, but I don't want all these RPOs. I'm tired of getting hit. You're going to see Lamar Jackson taking less and less quarterback rush reps.
Hey, he had a little Debo and Adam Schefter went back and forth. Adam Schefter comes out with his report. We're going to play that for you now. And then after that, Debo puts up his own on Instagram. Check this out.
There are a lot of receivers right now who are not showing up to their team's offseason programs. Debo Samuel not there, scrubbed the 49ers logos off his social media pages, clearly unhappy. My understanding is, and we'd have to hear from Debo himself, I'm sure there are a multitude of factors as to why he would like to be traded, but I think one of them is the fact that he simply prefers to be closer to home, South Carolina, not out west in California. San Francisco chose him. He didn't choose that. How many people leave school and go where they don't have to go? Debo is in that situation. I think he'd like to be closer to home somehow. Now, again, there are other issues, of course. We'll see if the two sides can figure out a way to work it out, but it's still a difficult trade to complete, as much as he doesn't want to be back in San Francisco. And then the question becomes, if they can't deal him, what then?
Gotta love Adam Schefter. It's a Michigan guy. He's a Michigan man. Came on the show. We appreciate you. But he has been flailing a little bit since posting the Tom Brady. He was a little bit early on that one. Then he comes out with the Dwayne Haskins tweet. Got a lot of flack for that. And now he doesn't do his homework. He just creates something. Debo Samuel says, at Adam Schefter, hilarious. Man said, I want to be close to home. And Debo Samuel was absolutely right. Adam Schefter didn't interview Debo Samuel. Adam Schefter didn't say, hey, what's going on? What are you thinking? What's behind the lines? And do some research. He took the lazy way out and in the journalist, because I've done it before. As a journalist, it's like, oh, well, you know what? Debo's from South Carolina. He's not from way out there. And it's always a good story. Everybody wants to go close to home if they get the opportunity. So it makes sense that you would say something like this. The only thing is now with social media, the people you talk about are paying attention. So you just can't make stuff up off the fly anymore, because you will get caught on it. Has nothing to do with wanting to go home by Debo. Come on, Shefty.
Guys, I want to transition to the NBA if I can next, because Ben Simmons.
Who?
Ben Simmons, Stephen A. Smith, Reggie Miller. You have got to hear, Barkley, what they're saying about Ben Simmons right now, out for Game 4 when his team needs him the most. If you haven't heard this, stick around. My goodness. But first, the message from SMA.
I got to get used to doing it this way.
And then I've got a message also before we get to Braylon. I've got a message for another NBA player out there that his team needs him, and nobody's talking about it. Can't wait for that.
I bet you I know who it is.
I got an idea on who that guy is. But
It's a big guy, isn't he?
Might be bigger. Let's talk about SMA. The Sports Market Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com if you're having any type of issues with mental health as well as substance use or substance abuse. They're here for you. Thesportsma.com. Very discreet. Everybody has issues. Best to get them checked out now.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Guys, so Ben Simmons going to be out for Game 4 of
Shocking.
Yeah, the
He
series.
hasn't played in how long?
A year. He sat
A full
out
year.
Since the
year.
playoffs.
He sat out the year. I don't want to use the word claimed, but he says mental illness is his
the reason
why he hasn't played. But then he got traded. Then he got traded to Brooklyn, and all seemed to be well. Still is not suited up with his new team. Was a game time decision the other night, and now on the brink of elimination, he is out. This is the tweet from Reggie Miller. Let's put it up. This guy. I'll wait to read it along with you. Come on, man. Out for Game 4 when it was rumored you were going to make your debut. This dude has zero competitive fire. As small of a chance as the Nets have to come back in this series, you still have KD and Kyrie. All you need is one game and take it from there. Then Stephen A. Smith had this to say on Mr. Simmons.
Jalen's different than me. I feel bad for anybody who was his teammate. He quit on LSU. He quit on the Philadelphia 76ers, and now he ain't showing up for the Brooklyn Nets. We can point to all the excuses, all the rationale behind it that we want to. I do recall, despite him not playing, he still filed a grievance to collect $20 million that he has not earned. This is one of the most pathetic situations that I've ever seen in my life. He ain't going to war. He ain't going in the octagon. He's not going in a boxing ring. It's pulling teeth to get this man to play basketball. It's pathetic. It's sad. And at the end of the day, when the NBA gets in the collective bargaining table and they go after the players in terms of a pay-for-play stipulation in the collective bargaining agreement, it's going to be called the Ben Simmons rule.
And that's the number one issue right there for a lot of players in the NBA, because when they go to that collective bargaining agreement, if you're not gonna play, they're gonna want some of that money back.
Yeah, Ben Simmons, he puts himself in a bad situation, as well as the people that will follow him in the NBA players that actually do suffer from mental health or actually are really going through some things. I support mental health. I've been working with Sean for the last 4 or 5 years. SMA is one of our sponsors. You know, we do those reads, so I definitely don't want to take anything away from what Ben Simmons might have been going through from a mental illness standpoint. Off season last year through the whole of this season, I understand he got the epidural shot in his back. People aren't lining up to get an epidural shot. Okay, you talking about Toradol just to play a game? I give you that. I've been there. We all have an NFL. But an epidural in my back? Hell no. So I will even say that injury was legit to a certain extent at some point. See, the problem I have with Ben Simmons is something else Stephen A. talked about today. It's the me. Look at me. Watch me. Like the outfits. If I was in charge, or if I was with Ben Simmons, if I was in his camp, be it an agent, be it his manager, be it whoever. Like his brother, whoever, somebody, I would have told Ben, hey, check this out. Black on black, no diamonds, no jewelry, not all that. Don't sit next to the coach, sit at the edge of the bench. Be there for your team support. It just, he seems like he's making it about himself. Pink glasses on during the game, you're inside. And I get it. They're into fashion. The kids are young, I get it. You wear whatever. The drip, I get it. I'm not mad at you having drip. I'm just mad you're choosing to wear it in this moment. I'm just mad that you're choosing that. You told us that you were going to play in Game 4. Like, he was supposed to play Game 4. It wasn't questionable. It was supposed to play. Now he's not playing. Now he's just at the forefront. It just looked like, look at me. Oh, by the way, no, I'm not playing. I don't want any parts of that. Reggie Miller hit the nail on the head. There's no competitive fire.
He don't care. He don't care.
There's no
get to Stephen A. Smith from today now. Stephen A. Smith from today. Listen to what he has to say about Mr. Simmons, and then I got another player I got words for.
Notice I said Kyrie Irving is one of the most selfish superstars we've ever seen, and obviously one of the most selfish athletes we've ever seen. I didn't say the word the as in number one, because obviously he ain't got nothing on Ben Simmons. Nobody is worse than Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons might also be the weakest, most pathetic excuse for a professional athlete we have ever seen.
That right there is...
That's a whoa.
That's tough.
I have not heard a commentator talk about a professional athlete like that in a long time. Ben Simmons, I don't want to say what does it matter, but he better have something seriously wrong with him.
Yeah.
Because to be paid $20 million to not play one game, man, oh man. It's like he said, it's basketball, man. It's not going to war. You're not seeing anybody die next to you. It's basketball.
I think what you're saying with Ben Simmons is it was fun along the way. Like Ben Simmons plays for what comes with basketball. Ben Simmons plays for the Diamonds and the drip and the courtside and the women. He was dating Kylie Jenner Kendall. That don't matter. It don't matter. One of them girls that get paid for doing nothing. He was dating one of them. See, the thing that bothers me about Ben Simmons, he don't love basketball. He don't love the game. He just likes courtside. He likes the clothes, the cars. Ain't no competitive spirit about this brother. And you know, I've covered the game in Philly for years, and I saw AI, and I saw that. You know, AI is my guy. AI is neither here nor there right now. But anyway, getting back to me, like, he just has no competitive spirit. Like, he loves what comes with basketball. Now, this is me. It's no longer Stephen A. Smith. He loves that he can wear drip, and people can ask, yo, what was that? What was that? What designer is that? Where'd you get that diamond chain from? Where is that from? Is that from Icebox? That's what he cares about. He cares about dating the Kendall Jenners. He cares about driving the Rolls Royces. Don't get me wrong. Those are fun. Been there, done that. But you know what's real fun? Is winning a damn championship. It's when people know that you're there for that team. That's what's really fun. So he just ain't got it because he don't love basketball. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But he don't love basketball.
You know who else don't love basketball? Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson should not be doing what he's doing. Zion Williamson is also and has also quit on his team in a 1-8 matchup in the West, where somehow, some way, the New Orleans Pelicans have fought and clawed to 2-2. You're out there pregame. You're out there friggin' pregame, dunking through your legs, doing all kinds of high flying. You can't give your team 15, 20 minutes out there off the bench. You can't do that for your guys. Who the hell is... Why are you sitting there on the bench in all that jewelry, laughing, collecting your check? Suit up for your team, play for the guy next to you, get your ass out there and play basketball. Period.
He's waiting.
What are you waiting for?
To come to Detroit next year. You didn't know that?
Is he going to be like Ben Simmons?
No.
Were you going to sit on the end of the bench? Play. Why do these guys not play? If he can be out there dunking.
Oh, yeah. Look at those moves. Look at those moves.
First of all, the first one was a travel. That first one was you traveled again.
Yeah.
That's a travel.
He can be out.
How did you travel in air basketball? Did you just dunk on me?
He's out there dunking.
Ryan, I get that, but sometimes it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that.
Out there dunking.
He is, but from a front office standpoint, a lot of times with these players in front office, it's different. It's different decisions. It's dissent. They've had conversations with him. You can't play. We're not going to let you play. If they say that and you can't play, what the hell are you gonna do?
Here you go.
No,
I'll tell you what
no,
to
no.
do.
Here you go. You go out there and dunk on warm-ups. Since they won't let you post on social media that you're healthy or that you want to play, since they won't let you post and say, hey, you know what? No, I want to play. I want to be here, but they won't let me. You know what you do? You go out there and dunk in warm-ups, and now you ask people like us to have this conversation.
Set the record straight. I'm out of breath now.
These
guys, listen, these guys go on social media every single day.
Right.
Set the record straight. Tell me you want to play.
But it ain't about you.
Why?
It's not about you as the fan, as the person watching the game. It's about that front office. Because if they told him not the same thing, if they put a gag order in place. Why
would they do that?
Why do they do half the stuff that they do in professional sports in the front office? Go ask the Detroit Lions from back in the day. Not this year. They're good now.
Well, then that's a dumb organization.
Why the hell did AD get out of there? He hated the organization. And a lot of people that backed him up talked about the organization as well. Some people are stuck there, like Brandon Ingram.
Look, if you're Zion Williamson and you're the number one pick in the draft, and you have the ability to walk from that organization, you ain't telling me to do nothing. I'm going to be out there with my teammates, or I'm going to be letting people know I want to play. I am able to play.
We also got to remember, Ryan, just because Zion's been in the NBA for 3 years now, we just assume everybody is grown-ups. Zion came in at, 18, 19? He's still young. He's still young-minded. He never, he was at Duke a year. Was hurt in the NBA his rookie year, so he's still by himself. Then he plays next year. Now he's hurt this year by himself. He's still young. The guy loves basketball. I want to give him a little bit more rope, a little bit more credit, because I'm telling you, I think it's that front office. I think it's the front office.
Then those guys going to be out looking for a job in the coming years.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right?
I want him to be a New York Knick or a Piston.
Don't wish that on anybody. I'm talking about the Knicks, not the Pistons.
I want guys that want to play basketball. I want guys that want to be out there. If he's that guy and it's on the organization, then so be it. But I hope he sets the record straight eventually, because when he does leave the Pelicans, and he will leave the Pelicans, I hope he remembers this moment and lets people know why he wasn't playing.
I tell you somebody that wants to play basketball and that's damn good at it, and that's your favorite player, Steph Curry.
Oh, I love that guy. He also loves the Fowling Warehouse.
Yeah, there you go.
In Hamtramck, the home of the original football bowling game. 2 ways to play. $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or more people, $120 for 2 hours. A $2 mystery beer machine. They've got over 100 beers to offer. Have your own food delivered. Bring it in. They don't care. Get your foal on. Check it out at fowlingwarehouse.com.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope, a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other die-hard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adam, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddie, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for draft day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
Check this out, man. Planet Fitness is trying to get you to do the right thing to get in shape. They made it affordable. It's only $10 a month. $10 a month, over 2,000 locations worldwide. It is very simple. Also, you want to be a big baller shot caller. $22.99 gets you the black card. Once again, 2,000 locations. That gives you access to all of them, as well as anytime you come, you can bring somebody to work out. I don't know about you, but I'm so. Get in shape, because the summer is coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun summer, especially if you're in shape. Your fitness is essential. PlanetFitness.com.
Only $10?
Only freaking $10, brother.
Find new roads.
If we get you to Planet Fitness, you won't be out of shape right now.
Yes.
You won't be out of breath.
Woo! Hey, you know who we didn't mention before we get to the videos?
Who?
Hunter Dickerson.
Oh, he's coming back.
NIL. Seriously, I think that's where NIL helps. Really, because you're a guy like Hunter Dickinson. Instead of going out there, leaving for the draft to make a quick buck, you can make probably a couple $100,000 next year. Just, enough to make you feel good.
Not only that, you give yourself a sound landing board. If you're Hunter Dickinson,
absolutely
you're one. No, I'm saying you're one.
That's the main part.
Yeah, you give yourself that sound landing board. He makes what, $300,000-$400,000 next year.
Yeah,
because he's not. It's sketchy on where he goes. Remember, in the NBA draft, very different than other drafts. The longer you're in college, the more questions come up. Why is this guy still in college? This guy could have left 2 years ago. Now he's coming back for his senior year. So you come back. Not only do you work on your game, put a little money in your pocket too.
But again, Hunter Dickinson, though, it's the right thing for him to do personally, because it's not, I think John Beilein said this, it's not about being drafted, it's about having a good career.
Yeah.
And I think coming back to Michigan helps Hunter Dickinson work on his game, and he has a better opportunity to have a good career in the NBA, but because of NIL, it gives him the ability to do that.
And Jawan said, "Yeah, come on back. We'll use you."
Right.
Right? Because if Jawan didn't want him,
right,
he ain't coming back.
Drafting and leaving sometimes is two different things, but this one I definitely agree that for all the reasons mentioned, he should come back. Sometimes you don't get another crack at it.
That's right.
Michigan State has had a lot of guys, man, that were ready to go, lottery picks after round 1, but good old Izzo talks you into staying that sophomore, that junior, and now you don't get drafted. So it could be both, but I think it's a good move for Hunter Dickerson.
Time of the day, we like to play Maz's videos of the day.
All right.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
If you missed it last night, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball always used to be my favorite program of the week. Now it's just a horrible, just a terrible broadcast.
Terrible.
They've got to change it. Please get Joe Buck or Boog Shambi or somebody in that seat. Carl Ravitch, get back to the studio as quick as possible. David Cohn, go back to New York. I love you, Coney. You don't fit on the broadcast, by the way. Last night, the Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers, great game, 1-0 game, going down to the 9th inning. Angel Hernandez behind the plate. He is probably the most hated umpire in baseball.
Is that another way to say he's the worst
Yeah, he's
umpire?
the worst umpire. He has the lowest rating of all the umpires. He's behind the plate last night. Lots of players got mad at him. None more than Kyle Schwarber.
Here it comes. Called strike 3, and Schwarber is thrown out of the game, and he had zero issue with getting thrown out. Making it very clear, you've missed him inside, outside, up and down. Kyle Schwarber thrown out after being punched out by Angel Hernandez.
You see the one when he was in the dugout?
No, I didn't see that one.
It was like right when he was on the way out. That's what we were talking about. Him talking like lobbying for both teams. That was what was so great about it. He wasn't just arguing on behalf of the Phillies. He was like, "You've been effing everybody ball game." He said, "This side, our side, this box, that box." He was pissed, rightfully so.
And SportsCenter later, they do the interview after the game. They talk to Andrew McCutcheon, first year with the Brewers, been around for a long time.
Oh, God, Cutch.
Great guy.
Man,
and they asked him, what'd you think of Schwarber? You know, was he sticking up for both teams? He's like, you saw it, you see it, the fans see it. They got to get it right. These players, they know what a strike is.
Right.
Yeah.
They know what a freaking strike is.
Yeah.
The umpire, this guy is... He's pushing for robo umpires. This guy stays in, you're going to get a robot umpire. I don't want a robot umpire.
Right.
I need the umpire to ring you up.
Right.
I almost don't think he should have got tossed, because if you look at his energy, it was well placed.
Right.
I could tell he was yelling. I don't know if he used expletives. And we do know he used expletives, but it was like legit conversation back. It was like, listen, you've been calling it inside. I wouldn't have thrown him out.
All right, this one I'm going to need your help with, Bray, because you had some good insight on this one. This idiot sitting in the audience in Memphis, the Grizzlies are playing. There's this woman, and she's eyeballing, and she's ready to get on that court and do some type of demonstration.
Got her.
And the security guard had his eye on her the entire time. Take me through this, Bray.
So it's interesting. So basically, she works on behalf of animal rights. I can't remember exactly what happened. Something happened with the Minnesota Timberwolves owner and some chickens and some eggs.
Here she comes.
So her grand plan,
goes.
her grand idea was to, wear a female referee shirt, an NBA official shirt underneath the shirt, and then at some point run out there, which she did, and then throw a timeout, or a technical foul right in the owner's face. But they know about these things. They plan on these things. The NBA and professional sports in general, these things don't just happen. Like, they talk about them on the web or whatever, and people pick up on it. That guy was sitting in place. He spotted her. He knew her. I went to an NBA game. I don't want to take your time, man. With a friend of mine. This is 3-4 years ago, right when COVID was about to start. She works on behalf of like the prison system, like making sure inmates can use the phone or blah 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 blah. They were going at Gore's. She invited me to a Pistons game to sit courtside. I didn't know what her plan or itinerary was. She used me to go to sit courtside, right? And then they were in court, or they were going back and forth with Gore, because he owns the telecommunication systems for exactly. And so she was using me, but the guys, like the ushers, the security, they knew who she was. They came up and told her she had to stop passing out like the material she was passing out. I was like, what the hell is going on? We're coming to find out.
Oh my gosh,
propaganda,
that's awesome, man.
But back to my point, they know. They knew she was. They recognized her face. As soon as she started passing out flyers, they shut all of it down and almost tried to kick her out.
That security guard had his eye on that woman from he couldn't wait for her to make the move.
Notice there was a seat in between. They knew, and they cleared that area out.
Did you see her girlfriend raise the camera raised the phone, getting ready because she, all right, I'm going to go now. She had that phone up.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, if you notice it. You can play it back again. You'll see her friend doing that. Go ahead, Alex. Play it one more time. You watch her friend next to her.
She does.
What's the friend? Once she lifts that phone up.
You got to be careful when you do stuff like this. I told you about this. When you tackle these people, you can get sued for it.
Jeez.
James Harrison got sued. James Harrison got sued. You showed that clip, actually.
I think Draymond
said something. I know James Harrison got sued.
That's a crock. You come on the court.
Because you get injured or you fake an injury or whatever. And it's a woman and it's a guy, so you can find a way to sue.
Here's one more for you guys. Lions executive John Dorsey, Braylon knows him well.
This is great.
Used to be the boss in Cleveland and in Kansas City at one point. He does this every draft night. This is a fact. He pulls a prank every draft night. He starts calling different general managers as they're trying to do their work.
When they're on the clock.
While they're on the clock. Check this out, John Dorsey. Will he do it this year?
Did you up your offer?
No.
Good to hear from you. We're working.
What's that?
Dorsey. John Dorsey.
What do you say?
I'm sure he was calling with me, but...
I'm working. Dorsey, John. So John's. I mean, look, John's like a brother. Every year during draft day, when we get on the pick, I usually get this call from Dorsey, and I always know if it's on the pick that it's usually he's joking and trying to get me riled up, during the middle of.
Will John Dorsey be on that phone this year?
That's funny, but don't do that this year. This is a serious year. You go joke in 2023. We need to be
you could screw up someone else's pick. He's on our team now.
Guys, great day. So much fun today. Great to be in it. NFL Draft Week. Lots to talk about. Thanks, everybody on YouTube. Even you, David C., who is just
he's killing us today.
Killing me.
YT Sparty killing me as usual. Oh, they are out there. We are hated. You and me are America's most wanted on YouTube.
Hey,
so great.
It's only on days. They change.
So
I'll be hated number than tomorrow.
It's only an opinion. We all have them. Just
even
like
you
know
David
what.
C., friggin' jerk.
David C.
Come on, man. Lighten up, Francis. All right, Bray, get us out of here.
Do another jam while you're here. Do another jam, Ryan.
Day 1 Monday in the books. Guess what? Brasswell, come kick it with us. It's going to be fun. Draft party like no other draft party. That is Thursday starting at 7:30 until the 32nd pick. But guess what? I got my boy Ryan Armani back with the basketball move. He slapped the shit out of me. Man, that's the show. We'll see y'all later. Bye. That's the bottom line. Maz, I love you. Glad to be having you back.
Right side, there it is! His 3,000th, the third Tiger to ever do it.